The law of attraction may seem like magic, but I assure you it is not. And there are some really practical ways that you can put it into practice in your life starting today. Watch this video to find out how. Before I get into the 4 steps of how to practice the law of attraction, just a quick little overview to help you understand the context. So what we know is that our thoughts create emotions, and our emotions influence how we show up and express ourselves in the world and the energy that we put out into the world. That energy that we put out into the world, think of it like a wave, a vibration that goes out and touches and connects with other waves and vibrations out in the world. That like attracts like, so those vibrations attract back the vibrations to us. And then how we respond to what comes back to us influences, again, like a cycle, how we feel and what we put back out. So it's almost like a dance, or even an inhale and an exhale. Think of the inhale part as the receiving of the gifts of the world, receiving what we're getting from the universe. And then we inhale it, how we feel about it influences the exhale part of what we put back out, which influences what comes back to us. So it's a dance of this inhale, exhale. And what generally happens in the world is we're only focused on what we're getting and not so much what we're putting out there to get what we get. The 4-step process that I use, I'm going to give you an acronym so that you can remember it really easily. And if you speak Spanish, you'll love this acronym because it's ALMA. ALMA, which stands for soul in Spanish. So the first A is for alignment, and it's for that internal alignment, that part of how you are aligning who you are with what you're doing on a daily basis. So that alignment, for example, involves something as simple as, are you doing work that you love? Are you using your gifts in the world? If you're doing work that you despise and you're not using your gifts in the world, it'll be really hard for you to create that kind of internal vibration that you send out into the world that will attract what you want to attract. So the first step of practicing the law of attraction is about being in alignment with what you really love and what you really want. So it looks like being in alignment with your core values. It looks like taking care of your body and having your physiology be in alignment with how you want to experience life. It's what you believe about the world. It's the internal thoughts and belief patterns that are going on in your head. All of these pieces impact your alignment, your internal alignment, which is step 1 for attracting what you want into your life. Part of the internal alignment is also the emotions that you're feeling. Now, you might think, and most people do, think that how you feel is a direct result of what's going on in your life. If you're having challenges out here, you might think, well, of course I don't feel great. Of course I'm having trouble feeling love and gratitude. Well, that's going to impede your ability to attract what you want to attract. The internal alignment piece is not just the thoughts that you're thinking, but the emotions that you're feeling. And if you want to really attract more of what you want into your life, you need to cultivate the emotions of what you're trying to attract. So let's say you want to attract more love. You want to meet your soulmate, but you're not experiencing love right now in your life. If you're showing up without love in your heart, without feeling the feelings of love, it's going to be very hard to attract love because those 2 vibrations won't match. And so what we want to do, and this is actually really, really easy, is on a daily basis, tap into love. Start to cultivate the feelings of love on purpose, intentionally. Even if you have nothing to direct it to, get into your heart and think, how does love feel? Let me feel love. And if you need to, you might need to call to mind somebody or something that you already love so that you can have those feelings of love and cultivate them as a practice. Speaking of practices, it is the practice that you do every day that will start to generate the results. We can't just sit down and cultivate love one time and be like, there, I did it. Where's love now? Like, I'm ready. Come to me, right? We really need to do this and cultivate it as a practice. So the practice is something that you do every day or even multiple times a day. So I'll share with you one of my practices. Every single morning when I meditate, I purposely cultivate gratitude. Why? Because gratitude is the emotion that helps to manifest abundance, right? When we're feeling grateful and satisfied with what we have right here, right now, we are in a state of being abundant. And remember, the law of attraction is all about being what you want to attract. It's not about just thinking the thoughts, but actually embodying the vibration of what it is you want to attract. So every day I cultivate gratitude. I work on building that emotion in my heart so that I can feel it very strongly. And then what ends up happening is by doing that in the mornings, I'm much more likely to notice something and feel grateful for it throughout the day. So I might notice flowers and say, oh, look at those flowers. I'm so grateful that I got to experience those flowers today. And now I'm cultivating gratitude, which creates the vibration of gratitude, which attracts more abundance. The second step of the Alma model, L, stands for leadership. And you might wonder, what does leadership have to do with attraction? Well, from my perspective and what I see is that we are leading ourselves. We are leading ourselves so that we can cultivate certain experiences and emotions. So learning how to lead yourself, having leadership involves how you're expressing yourself out into the world, what you're putting out into the world, and also leading others, right? What you're doing is serving as a model for other people. When you show up full of gratitude and love and abundance, you're leading other people and they are getting entrained to that vibration that you're putting out into the world. So your leadership is about your expression. And when I talk about expression, I'm really focusing on two kinds, although there are many kinds. The first is your language, your expression that you express through words, right? So how are you speaking about the world? If you're speaking out about the world in a way that's scarcity driven, for example, I never have enough time. There are not enough hours in the day to do all the things I want to do. If you find yourself saying that, then you're expressing your leadership is around scarcity of time. If you're saying things like, nobody wants to pay me what I'm worth, or money doesn't grow on trees, or there's no such thing as a free lunch, then what you're expressing is scarcity around money. And so what we want to be really cognizant of it is, what is our language? What are we putting out into the world? Because not only are we creating through our language, not only are we leading others through our language, we're also programming ourselves through our language. Because while we're speaking, we're also listening. So you might notice that I generally oftentimes will slow down and take a breath or take a pause in between thoughts. And the reason I do that is because I'm paying attention to listening to myself as I'm speaking. Why? Because I want to be really intentional about what I'm creating, what beliefs I'm creating, what patterns I'm creating, what emotions I'm creating, not just in myself, but in you as I'm expressing. The second way to express, the second version of expression, is what we're creating, i.e. through our hands. So what are our creations out in the world? Are we building a business? And is that business an expression of the kind of things that we want to manifest, right? So if we're creating something in the world, I'll give you an example, and not one that I'm particularly proud of, but I want you to really see this in action. A few years ago, I wrote a book, and it was called The Stiletto in Your Back. And it was a book that was born out of a belief system that you couldn't trust, that I couldn't trust women. I had some bad experiences. I had an experience where a woman had stolen something from me, and I created the story that I couldn't trust women. And then I put that story out into the world in the form of a book. In other words, leading, that was my leadership. Through my expression, through my creation, I put this belief system out in the world, and I disseminated it. Now, of course, that's a particular vibration that I'm sending out into the world, and it's going to resonate with other people who believe what I believed. It's going to resonate with people who don't trust women or believe that women can't be trusted, that you turn your back and someone's going to stick a stiletto in it, right? So that's going to attract more of those people to me. So of course once I realized this, once I recognized this, once I understood how the law of attraction worked, I took the book down from Amazon because I no longer believe that that's the expression that I want to put out in the world. And I certainly don't want to keep attracting that type of vibration back to me. Get it? So that was the second step, leadership. What you're expressing out into the world, that's the vibration that you're sending out. The third step of practicing the law of attraction is what comes back. It's the manifestation, the M. The manifestation is, or the magnetization, either one, is the receiving back of the gifts, the receiving back of what you've put out, letting it come back to you and feeling grateful. Now, here's the tricky part here. If you don't get what you want, right? If we come back and we're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted, I'm trying to attract the man of my dreams and I got this loser, right? When we come from that attitude, right, then we're putting that loser vibration back out into the world, and that's not what we want. So we have to appreciate all the gifts, even if they don't look like what we wanted them to look like. We have to appreciate them and feel gratitude for them, for what they are bringing to our life, rather than feeling derision. Because if we feel derision, then derision is the emotion that we're putting back out there. See how this works? Because remember, law of attraction is about being. It's not about thinking or about desiring or wanting. It's about embodying the energy of what we wish to attract. So in that third phase, let's say we do attract a loser back to us, then we want to feel grateful. For example, we could say, wow, this wasn't exactly what I expected. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I feel gratitude for this example, this further awareness and knowing of what isn't for me. I'm really happy that I had this experience, that I attracted this opportunity to recognize even further what I do want. And then we continue to cultivate gratitude and acceptance and receptivity for what we did receive, because that's the vibration that we send back out. And that's the last step. The last step is amplification. Amplification is taking the manifestation to the next level. And we amplify by appreciation and gratitude, which I already talked about, and also through co-creation. So once we receive back, once the people start to flow into our lives who are aligned with this new vibration that we're sending out, those people are people we can play with. They're people we can co-create with to create something bigger, something new, something unique, something we never even imagined. That's the amplification piece. It's about magnifying the impact. So a lot of times we come to the law of attraction from a place of me. Here's what I want. The amplification part is about making it bigger than us. It's about learning to create what we want to create in the world in service of something bigger, in contribution. That's the amplification piece. Once we're vibing at a really high level, we find that nothing is quite as satisfying as sharing it and imparting it and collaborating with it and co-creating with it. So those are the 4 steps of the law of attraction. A, alignment. L, leadership. M, manifestation. And A, amplification. If you're interested in more in aligning what you do with who you really are, then visit the link below and get my Monetize Your Magic playbook so that you can create more abundance, more joy, more love, and more connection in your business and in your life. See you later.